For the 22nd time in the history of Michigan basketball, they are into the NCAA tournament for the 8th time in John Beilein's head coaching career, and for the 3rd time in the last 4 seasons with the head coach at the helm here in Ann Arbor. Glad you're with us on this edition of Inside Michigan Basketball. You are the 4 seed. You're in Nashville, Tennessee. You open up against the Bobcats of Ohio on Friday. What are your thoughts when you saw it?
We're thrilled to be a 4 seed, number one, even though I don't think there's a big difference between a 3 and a 5 and a 4 and a 6, but it is really, it's great to be in the tournament. We got to sort of embrace that and playing Ohio University. I have so much respect for the great teams that come out of the mid-major conferences. Ohio University is no different.
How has your regular season and then the Big Ten tournament help prepare you, do you think, for the NCAA?
Well, I think if you look at our, first of all, of the top 16 teams in this tournament, according to the seeds, we have 5 teams from the Big Ten. That's incredible. You know, just under 33% of the field is made up of Big Ten teams. So I think we've played against really good teams. It's a unique conference where there's a lot of different styles. But I think whoever we play at different times, and it starts off certainly with a very good Ohio U team, we hopefully we're prepared for it because of the work we've done during the season.
Your experience helps you and your staff. How about your players? How does the experience that they've had, specifically Novak and Douglas, help you and help your team at this point?
Well, I think they've learned, first of all, from this season, you know, what it's like to win in games where you might be a little bit favored. You know, and you still got to show up, and you better play your A game because everybody's out for you. And then, of course, last year, Trey Burke's the only one that probably will play significant minutes that wasn't part of that little run we made last year with a great win over Tennessee and then an almost game against Duke. So hopefully we'll learn from this experience, and hopefully, most importantly, Matt, that hopefully we're a better team than we were last year at this time.
People talk about travel and how important it is to stay close to home. Yeah. Nashville's not that far. Does that factor in at all?
Well, I wish that our fans could have driven down. It's a little bit, I don't know if you make a drive to Nashville. I don't even know how far it is, but I do like the idea that we're not probably way out on the West Coast. It's good that we have a lot of, you know, Michigan's a national university, really a global university, so we'll have a lot of fans there. And you know, I don't think anyone will have an advantage if you're playing Ohio University in Columbus or you're playing Belmont in Nashville. That'd be a little bit different. But I think it'll be a neutral site, and we'll have to play well.
This is the highest seed that you've ever been as a coach.
Yeah.
It's the first time Michigan has ever been a 4 seed, by the way, in the NCAA tournament. How do you look at the brackets, or do you just worry about, you know what, I've got Ohio, and then I could have a Temple or a Cal or a South Florida? How do you look at it?
I'll let my assistants worry a lot about who the next round opponents will. I will be. It will be Ohio University, Ohio University, Ohio University. For me, it will be, you know what it'll be, Matt? It'll be tomorrow's practice of what we got to do. I think given the week that we have to prepare, we'll spend a lot of time on Michigan. Because that's what we need to get better at in Michigan basketball. We didn't always see that in this tournament down in Indianapolis. So we'll get back to some basics while we also learn more about our next opponent.
Is that as much an important factor as anything else, is the fact that your team has been through it? They know how to prepare during a week for the upcoming NCAA tournament and then the quick turnaround. Some teams who've never been through that, sometimes it catches them by surprise.
Well, I think that most of the people you're going to play this time of the year probably have been through this enough. And I believe Ohio University was in 2 years ago, and they have some teams, some young men that are back from that team as well. So, you know, it is, we just approached it the same way as a regular road trip, actually, except we got to go in an extra day early. Mm-hmm. But it'll let our guys get acclimated, enjoy the experience a little bit, but embrace the opportunity that they have right now in front of them to win their first NCAA game this particular year.
People will look at the brackets first thing on Monday morning. They will start writing in the teams, and the thing that they will focus on a great deal of is point guard. And a lot of people want to see a senior point guard. You may not have a senior. Yeah. You got one heck of a point guard. That should help you, shouldn't it?
Well, I believe that in our first games right here with Ohio University, they to tremendous point guard as well. A young man who played AAU basketball for Ty Streets of all people, and so we really have to be understanding that juniors at that level are very good players as well. And you know, but Trey Burke is a heck of a player, and I just love coaching him. I loved coaching him, believe it or not, in our game against Ohio in defeat. I mean, I love coaching with him, even though he had probably not his best performance. I loved coaching him the whole time. He was calm as a cucumber the whole time. And it's good to have a good point guard this time of the year.
Did set a Michigan Big Ten tournament record with 30 in the victory over Minnesota in the first game that the Wolverines played down in Indianapolis. When we come back, we'll talk about momentum. Does Coach believe you have to have momentum going into the NCAA tournament, or do you build it as the tournament continues? That and more when we return after this. Any solace in the fact that this team has really never let one loss get them down? You haven't lost back-to-back games in over a year.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you know, you want to win every game, but let's be real. You know, it's Big Ten tournament versus NCAA tournament. You know, I like this if it gets us ready for the NCAA tournament.
Inside Michigan Basketball is brought to you in part by AT&T. When you can go faster, you are free to do more. AT&T. Get it faster with 4G. Rethink possible. And by the University of Michigan Health System and UofMHealth.org. At a place of extraordinary medicine, what you see is how amazing life can be. Well, if you want to spin it into a positive, Michigan losing to Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament semis can be a good thing. They haven't lost back-to-back games all season long. Welcome back. I know your team has shown great fortitude and great mental aptitude during those types of times when you've lost a game. How much does that help you bouncing back?
I think our kids believe in that concept, that when you lose a game, you're going to get better. Here's a great opportunity for growth. I don't think we'd be where we are right now if we hadn't embraced that all year long. It's always been a way that, as being a guy who was never an assistant coach, that was the only way I could learn to be a coach. You get you lose a game, and you get. I noticed where I could become a better coach looking at the mistakes that I made, that our team made. So our kids have really taken on that same type of attitude. So, you know, I don't know how it will carry over. I know that our kids will embrace the mistakes that we made and help them make us better, both individually and as a team.
Seems like in Indy you got off to a little bit of a slow start in both games, yet you were able to come back against a very athletic Minnesota club, and you beat them, and then Ohio State, it kind of caught up to you. Overall, the experience of the Big Ten tournament.
It was great. I mean, we just ran into Minnesota once again, had played down there, their length and their quickness. We hadn't seen that in our last two games, believe it or not. Just they were very quick, a little smaller, but very quick in the game, and we just got off to a bad start, and I was glad we could come back. But our game against Ohio was, I mean, they were just tremendous. I mean, Sollinger's just scoring on us like anything. I think they really showed what a great team they are, and you know, they lost to Michigan State. Michigan State showed what a great team they are, and guess what, Matt? We got wins over both of them. So it wasn't our night. And that's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes you just turn around and say, let's grab the basketballs and let's go back to work. There's a lot of people in your bracket, your area, that might get concerned if they got to face Michigan because of you and your ability to plan and how difficult it is to coach and play against John Beilein-led teams. How do you respond to stuff like that? Oh, I don't know, because I don't know what other people do, and I don't know what other people think. I just try to do what we do, and we're trying to just be very good at what we do. We try to be simple in some ways, and sometimes we got to have a few tricks in our bag. So I'm just grateful to be coaching at Michigan and have this tremendous staff who gives me so many ideas. It's really wonderful to be in that environment and have a team, Matt, that wants to be better players and they want to be coached. And that, you put all those things, those ingredients together, and you get a pretty good experience of coaching a team that just has the success this team's had. When you coach in the NCAA tournament, can you pinpoint one specific important ingredient that it takes to keep advancing? Oh, you know, with our teams, all these times that we've been, you got to be able to make guarded shots, and you got to be able to really make your open shots. I mean, you're not going to get a lot of open shots, but when you get them, you can't be, guys can't have off nights. And then defensively, you know, it's not a time in the tournament that you got to let down your guard. You better be able to play hard without fouling. They call the game a little bit closer now in the NCAA tournament. They get back, and it's like they go through the rule book again. And you better be able to guard without fouling, because otherwise your best players will be on the bench and they'll be at the foul line all day long. So that's not just one key ingredient. There's a bunch. I wish it was just one thing. There's a bunch of things you have to consider. Well, the good news about that is the fact that John Beilein's club was ranked 19th in the country in personal fouls per game. That's a good sign. And their field goal percentage this year, the best since he's been in Ann Arbor. Plenty more to come, including a visit with both captains of this Michigan club, Stu Douglas, Zach Novak. Talk about the NCAA tournament and reflect on their careers in Ann Arbor after this.
this could be it. We play this again, it's done. This great season, it could be over. We'll never be able to play together again. But at the same time, we realize how great we are at bouncing back, learning from these kind of experiences. But we just can't have these regressions like that in the middle of the tournament. We can't win a game or two, and then take the next game off and regress in our progress. Everything we've been trying to get better at. It's I don't know. It's tough. We got to take a long look at ourselves and just find it within ourselves from a mental toughness standpoint.
Co-captain Stu Douglas obviously expected more out of his Wolverines at the Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis. Instead, they fall to the Buckeyes by 22. Welcome back. How do you take that experience, even though you guys have had tons of experience already during the season, and try to use it as a positive as you go forward in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think we had a great range of experience from, cutting out a tough win against Minnesota, and then seeing how, fragile your season and tournament status can be with, we got beat down by Ohio State. So I think it was good for us to kind of get a little bit of that out of our system, and so we can just keep focus on the NCAA tournament and work towards that, because these guys experienced it last year. Besides, Trey, but I think Trey is he's been poised all year. I think he's ready for it.
When you came here 4 years ago, it had been a long time since this basketball program had made a trip to the NCAA tournament. Yeah. Now it's almost commonplace for you. You've gone 3 out of 4 years. Talk about that experience and how gratifying that is to be able to help turn this program around.
Yeah, it took time. We thought after freshman year it was just going to be like that every single year. And sophomore year was a sobering experience. It was good for us, kind of woke us up a little bit. But now we expect from now on to be in the same position, fighting for seed instead of fighting for our lives to get in the tournament. And it's a lot less stressful, I'll put it that way. And it's a good step for this program to get it back to, to a national powerhouse where we want it to be.
How about this team going forward? How do you gauge this team's momentum, if any momentum, or do you take momentum out from a Big Ten tournament title, or a Big Ten tournament, I should say, and or end of a regular season into the NCAA tournament? Does it start right now, do you think?
Yeah, and I think the loss against Ohio State was good for us. We haven't lost back-to-back games in a while. It kind of wakes us up, refocuses us a little bit, and it's good for us. But the thing is, we had a stretch kind of in the middle of the Big Ten season where we win, lose, and we didn't have the mental toughness when we did back-to-back games to put together a streak of wins and build momentum. Now, we can't have any of those sort of lapses. So I think we're ready for that from, looking from the outside in on a game. But when we get into the game, we'll see how prepared we really are.
When you play the Bobcats of Ohio in Game 1 of the NCAA tournament down in Nashville, you will play Game 136 of your career. That is #1 all-time in Michigan basketball history. How's that feel? How's that sound to you?
It feels good, and to be up there with, I think it's Glenn Rice.
Loy Vaught.
Yeah, Loy Vaught, and not near the talent those players are, but to look at that record and see what I've done for this program and how far this program's come along, and just so I can put my imprint on it, it's been a dream come true.
How far have you come? Not just as a basketball player, but maybe as a man over a 4-year stretch.
Oh, this year more than anything, I've grown. I've matured more than ever this year, and it's been a slow process, but this year I've really stepped into more of a leadership role, and getting that experience to come off the bench, starting and going back and forth with that, it's been good to build mental toughness for myself to help lead on and off the court. And it's been a slow process, but it's definitely put together pretty nicely the last 4 years.
I remember you telling me earlier this year that I never envisioned myself as a guy who would come back here and constantly be around the program. Sure, once in a while, look at it from afar. That has changed for you, though, hasn't it? Why?
It definitely has. I don't know. It's just the imprint Zach and I have left. This place, where we're standing right now, the locker room, just coming back, and the banner now that we get to put up. There's just so much of us here now. It'll be hard not to come back.
Stu Douglas, #4 all-time in three-pointers attempted in Michigan basketball history, #5 all-time in three-pointers made. No question, Stu Douglas, a lasting imprint on Michigan basketball history. When we come back, the other captain who leads in a different way. He will join Zach Novak when we return. Inside Michigan Basketball is brought to you in part by Absol Pure Water, delivering quality bottled water since 1908. And by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. Welcome back. Zach Novak and the Michigan Wolverines in his career has been a 10-8, and now you're a 4 seed. I would guess you knew going in you're going to be in the NCAA tournament, so that's a little bit less pressure. But now that you're there, now that you know who you're going to play, is the pride still there? The fact that you've led this team to an NCAA tournament 3 out of your 4 years?
Yeah, definitely. I think especially just looking at when our class came in, the goal was just to get Michigan back to the tournament. To be able to do that 3 out of 4 years, I think is special. To get it back to back, like we've done the last 2 years with this group of guys is just, it's been amazing. It's been fun, and we're looking to keep it going.
It's also been difficult. How do you think you've been able to do it?
I think we've just got the right group of guys in here that really believe in our coaching staff. They believe in, the style of play that we have, and just the core values that we've established here. And that, when you got guys that buy in, good things are going to happen.
I've talked to a lot of assistant coaches throughout the season, and the thing they're most amazed is your camaraderie, your togetherness. You're the glue of this basketball club. Is it special? Is this one a little bit more special than maybe the past couple who've reached the NCAA tournament because of the togetherness?
Well, I think that every group that we've had that's made it has been special in its own unique way. This one, it's different, just like all the other ones were different. I think that, this one does have that extra something about it that, for whatever reason, we are very close, and we do seem to click very well, on and off the court. And I think that's, contributed to our success.
How do you flush out the disappointment at the Big Ten tournament and wipe the slate clean and get ready for the NCAA tournament?
There's 37 teams in here that lost our last game, so we're not the only one in that boat. If we're going to take solace in anything, it's that we have responded very well to defeat this year. So I know the guys will come back just as hungry as ever, and we're going to get ready. And we got a tough first-round opponent. We got to get ready to go.
Why do you think you've been able to handle that type of adversity and bounce back so quickly? Not have back-to-back losses all season.
Got tough guys, and I think it just goes back to the values I was talking about earlier. It's toughness that. If you get knocked down, you got to get back up, and that's the way we play. And I think that it translates to even when we're playing different game to game. Someone beats you, you got to come back with your best.
Do you and your roommate Stu Douglas do a good job of bouncing off one another? You both lead in different ways, drastically different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good thing for a team, do you think?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think one voice can be overpowering, and if you have two different voices but they're the same, then they can also, guys just get sick of hearing that. It's not like we, plan like, oh, I'm going to jump this guy and you go get him, or anything like that. But I think it just kind of works out, and it's, it's really helped us this year.
Yeah. You are third all-time in minutes played. What does that tell you about you and your Michigan career? I know you've said, I've played with a lot of great guys. They would say the same thing about you. Your longevity, your ability to play through games, not foul out. Something to be proud of, don't you think?
Yeah, I think I got to, thank Coach B for that one.
Well, you had to earn it.
Yeah, definitely. Just probably hasn't yanked me sometimes when I should be sat down, especially early. Freshman year, got a good opportunity to come in, play, and get my feet wet because I was making mistakes, and just where we're at in the program. Some of the guys right now that are freshmen probably aren't afforded some of the leeway that we had back then because it was a different time, and we're farther along than we were then. But no, I think it's just credit to the strength staff that we've got. John Doe, just guys, we do so much work behind the scenes that people don't see. So old-timers like me can get out on the court every week and compete.
You're an academic All-American. How difficult has that been to balance schoolwork and your ability to play night in and night out athletically?
Yeah, I think that there was times where it was very difficult, going through the raw school of business and playing on one of the top basketball teams in the country is not it's not always an easy thing to balance, but I had a lot of help again. We've got Tommy Jones, our academic supervisor. I've got a lot of supervisors at the business school. My professors are very accommodating. You know, they help me out. You know, if I was going to be gone, I could say, you know, can I push this back? I would talk to my group members and say, can I do stuff at the beginning of the semester when I'm not going to be gone as much? And I think that really, you know, it's just a lot of people have made it much easier for me when they didn't necessarily have to, and you know, I'm just appreciative of that.
Well, you've made it really easy for us. Final thought: how do you approach the NCAA tournament? I mean, can an athlete go into this and say, "Man, this could be my final game every single game," or can you not worry about something like that?
No, I think you just got to take it like, well, it's not like any other game. And you know, anytime we've been in the NCAA tournament, you don't go into it thinking, you know, this is just a regular game. It's the NCAA tournament, and I think that just supersedes everything else. You know, sure, there's going to be some emotions. That thought's going to be in the back of your head. You know, you lace them up, this might be the last time, but, you know, that's going to get pushed right out by the NCAA tournament. You know, get to do that 3 times in my life. You know, this is one of them. So I'm going to go out there and, you know, make the most of it.
It's been a fun but fast 4 years with a 3-time captain, Zach Novak, here with Michigan, one of 28 players all time in Michigan basketball history with 1,000 points or more and 500 rebounds or more. We're glad you've joined us on this edition of Inside Michigan Basketball. Join us next week. We'll talk about the NCAA tournament's first weekend and a whole lot more. Until then, go Blue.
9 exciting innings and 9 exciting reasons to order your 2012 Detroit Tigers season tickets.
Justin Verlander has done it again! Delvin Young with a second